Load testing of cloud applications. Often overlooked until a problem surfaces, characterizing an application's performance by simulating expected workload is one of the most important types of testing you can perform after functional testing. In this presentation, you will learn about what is load testing and why it's important, preparing for load testing, setting up a load test using a cloud test provider, running and analyzing the results of a load test, and load testing tools that are available in the Bluemix catalog. Load testing determines the capability of a Bluemix application to handle an anticipated amount of users or load. You should run load tests to ensure that your application remains available during critical times. Load testing will allow you to determine how your system will perform when subjected to a given load before it happens. Here are some benefits of cloud-based load testing. There's no setup or maintenance required. It's easy and has fast deployment. There's a high level of scalability of test agents. The test can be performed from different geographical regions. And there's a low maintenance cost. You only pay for the time the test agents are running. Currently, there are 2 load tests serviced in the Bluemix catalog that you can easily use with your Bluemix account. BlazeMeter. The BlazeMeter service provides an enterprise-grade, out-of-the-box load testing solution that's compatible with Apache JMeter. Load Impact. The Load Impact service is a leading load testing tool with unlimited on-demand multi-geographic testing capability. The Load Impact service provides 2 tools for you to create a user scenario script. You can use a Google Chrome extension or a proxy recorder to create the initial scenario script. Preparing for your load testing. Begin by understanding metrics and goals. Determine what is needed for the application to comply with contracts, regulations, and service level agreements. One method for identifying a target baseline for an existing application is by using historical or projected data. Identify peak hours of traffic of an existing application or estimate based on SLAs and add 10 to 50% above that peak number to ensure that you have required user capacity for potential spikes in traffic at any given time. The process of load testing will allow you to detect bottlenecks to be tuned. Once you have identified the tests that need to be performed, it's time to begin the testing in 3 general phases. The first phase will be used as a baseline for performance of the desired workload and determine any application scaling, horizontal or vertical, needed to meet the goals. The next phase of testing is to evaluate if you can increase performance and perform tuning to increase the performance. The third phase of testing is more ongoing and is used to assess performance and provide assurance after tuning. After a major release or update to the application, you should go back and repeat the baseline testing to ensure that the changes have not negatively affected performance. Once you have defined the goals to get started with executing the load test, you need to define 1 or more load testing scenarios. A good scenario is one that is based on a typical story of a user performing a complex task. Also, evaluate any background or batch tasks that run, and determine the mix of interactive and batch tasks that need to execute concurrently. Then, capture scripts for each scenario. Next, create the actual tests. A test configuration describes a load test that you will run. You define the load by entering the total virtual user or VU count, reflecting how many concurrent users you want to simulate. Then, enter the test duration and specify the percentage of simulated users that will be allocated to each scenario. Load testing tools support a range of advanced settings. You can start with an initial number of virtual users and then ramp up to full load, or you can select extra IPs if you need them, and specify also whether you want to test with different simulated client agent types. Cloud load-based tools also allow you to allocate load to different geographic zones for each user scenario. In order to gain continuous feedback on the performance of your system, it's advisable to schedule tests on a periodic basis. You can select the test you would like to schedule and then select the date and time, configured based upon the desired time zone, and test frequency, daily, weekly, or monthly. Interpreting test results can be challenging, but the key is to understand the test results and put them into the context of your performance measurement goals. The VU load time graph will give a quick indication of how the target site handled the load during the test. The example graphic provides a sample virtual user or VU load time graph. The green line shows the number of VUs that are active increasing. The blue line shows the VU load time staying relatively flat through the course of the test, with values falling between 1 and 3 seconds. In the graph shown, the page load time is constant with some small variation for all values of the load level, reflecting the active users on the site. For web page loads, a full page should render in a few seconds, much more than 10 seconds without visual feedback on progress, and users will start to experience frustration and abandon a website. In addition to reviewing the load time as a function of load, it is important to monitor the failed request count. Failed requests indicate that you're not getting any useful content back from the server. Examine the URL list looking for response codes such as 404, which might be a script problem, or 500, indicating a server failure. This concludes our overview of using load testing in the cloud to analyze the performance of your application. Thanks for watching.